Hello, this is Crypto Neptune, and in today's video, we're going to look at the overall market as a whole. We're going to dive into Telcoin's price action, and we're also going to look at what Paul Neuner has been up to as he is out there sharing the message of Telcoin and kind of what they have been doing with their progress. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice, only use risk capital, and thank you to those who continue to support the channel. So, as we look at the overall crypto market, we've seen some pullback. So as you can see, here's the market cap of the entire crypto market, and then it's down 0.05%. And then if we look here further, if we scroll down over the last 7 days, down 5.23%. So a pullback over the last 7 days, a little up, over the hour. Not much up significantly over the last 24 hours. So overall, over the last 7 days, we're down. As you know, Telcoin is tied to Ethereum, so it is down 11.86%. ETH has underperformed as it has not been had that strong bull case yet, so it's down. And then if we go here further to look at Polygon Matic, Telcoin is also tied to Polygon Matic, which had a pullback down 5.46%. Now, can a coin essentially outperform the market while the market is down? Absolutely, it can. It can because remember, a few weeks back, Telcoin was outperforming everything while the whole market was down. But overall, the overall sentiment right now is just kind of shaky in the market. So that's just had an impact on everything. And if we go to Telcoin's page, so by the way, remember when Telcoin was just only remittances and then it expanded and we got 110 tradable assets within a Telcoin wallet, which by the way, I hope they expand those assets as we get bigger and bigger. And to have the foresight to have digital cash, which is back 1-to-1 to multi currencies. This is an absolute game changer of a vision, and I love what they're doing. Now, looking at Telcoin's price, it is down 5.78% over the last 24 hours. Excuse me. And so 6.34 million in trading volume. So that definitely has to pick up. We were getting as high as 30 million in trading volume at one point when we were at 1 cent. And I think the market cap was like right around a billion. So definitely would love to get back to that point. And 437 million market cap right now. So what gives me confidence in Telcoin? The thing that gives me confidence in Telcoin is despite what's going on in the market, whether it's a bear market, whether it's a slow moving bull market, the team is very visible and they're putting in the work. Like for me personally, I have doubled down on the team because I see them out there. I see them constantly updating the app. I see them out there doing interviews. Tel has done more interviews than they have ever done before. So they're doing what they can to get that excuse me, that free press. And if we go here and look, so Paul Neuner had an interview with FinTech TV. He was at a summit in New York City. So he was at a summit in New York City, and here's his thoughts on how he feels crypto, where crypto is heading.
And that does bring me to my next question. So, heading into 2025, there have been a lot of expectations regarding the regulatory landscape. And now that the Genius Stablecoin bill has gotten bipartisan support, give us an understanding of where you think we're moving.
Well, I think that we're moving away from what a stablecoin was, which was tying some crypto asset to some underlying asset to something really more like digital cash, which means it the crypto asset actually represents legally the underlying dollars, right? So what that means is the trust in a regulated institution as an issuer of digital cash or stablecoins is something that can actually be mainline connected to the financial system, be a real world payment vehicle, and something that consumers trust.
And of course, we're here at DES 2025, and it is an institutional gathering. There are asset managers, financial institutions, as well as allocators here. So give us your take on the mood that you're seeing so far.
Well, it's exciting. I mean, the Financial Times article called it last week, called it a gold rush, right? So the stable coins, and suddenly, as people see that this is going to become law very soon, I think as early as next month, um, suddenly everyone, banks are willing to participate, right? And that was the key. And so I think this is an exciting time, and this conference is really, you see it migrating from the kind of gray space crypto world into the real mainstream financial system. So we're excited to be a part of
And
it.
Yeah, so a lot to unpack there. So Paul was basically stating that a lot of these a lot of these stable coins are kind of moving towards those backed one-to-one currencies what Telcoin has, which is digital cash. So you don't think businesses are not going to want to align with Telcoin because Telcoin is doing things the right way and they have aligned themselves with the government. So a lot of banks are willing to move that way. A lot of banks want to be involved with stablecoins now. So I'm sure a lot of people will be reaching out to Telcoin to say, how did you do it? How did you back your crypto one to one with actual multi currencies? And also, investors, again, I believe more investors also will be looking for kind of that unicorn project like Telcoin. It's extremely undervalued. So for me, I'm okay with taking the risk and doubling down on Telcoin. Now, not financial advice. Obviously, you do you. That is the important thing. Like if you're over leveraged or if you have pretty much said I've invested what I can and that's all I can do, then so be it. That is your decision. Remember, your financial decisions are your financial decisions. Let nobody sway you how you want to do things. For me personally, I have doubled down and been buying. I have been buying when the price runs down, I've been buying the dip. So because I see that Telcoin is forward thinking and they have the foresight to do they're essentially a couple of steps ahead. It's just that a lot of people, for whatever reason, don't know about it or choose to not talk about it, or potentially maybe they are could be potentially jealous of Telcoin because they're ahead, so they want to kind of keep their foot down on Telcoin, if that makes sense. And as you can see here, Paul Neuner was also in Washington D.C. as well as other tel, uh, Telcoin leadership. But it says a productive visit to Washington, D.C. last week, in addition to great meetings with the Fed, CFTC, CSBS, and the House of Financial Services Committee. The Telcoin team attended the D.C. Blockchain Summit, where CEO Paul Neuner spoke on the future of banking. Yeah, and then you take it a step further. Telcoin is the only digital asset bank in America. So they're working with the government. They're holding the government's hand and telling them how to build this out. Telcoin is the only project that has the blockchain infrastructure to connect to traditional payment rails. So, in my opinion, that is a game changer. If you are whether you're a small bank, a medium bank, or a large bank, you can align yourself and work with Telcoin and get yourself access to those blockchain services and potentially get some of the that digital cash asset within your app or whatever you're building out. But a lot to unpack here. Again, Telcoin is out there, and it's good to see Paul Neuner out there doing interviews. He has been out there in the trenches. We've seen Rajesh out there doing a lot of interviews, free press. We've seen Patrick out there. The whole team has, again, you're doubling down on a team. And like I mentioned before, I have met Paul Neuner, and first impressions are everything. A really down to earth guy that just wants to build and just wants to do what he can for Telfam. I met Patrick also. I met him also as well. And again, another just down to earth guy that just wants to make Telcoin successful. So I hope this video provided you some value. Do I still believe in Telcoin? Absolutely. I still believe in it. I'm willing to bet on something I'm a person that likes to bet on something where they think outside the box. I look for like investments where it's kind of you thinking outside the box. You're almost kind of like an angel investor, if that makes sense, into something like this. Because we see the future of all these other banks all of a sudden wanting digital cash. They're wanting stablecoins. And Telcoin right now is positioned better than a lot of those. So it'd be interesting to see how this plays out going into the back half of the year as we get inch closer and closer to the back half of the year, how Telcoin is sitting. So I want to thank you for listening, and thanks for stopping by.